Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Reality Club. I am one of your hosts, and my name's Lauren,
And I'm Alicia.
and we are so happy to have you here. I just want to start us off. Alicia, I have a question for you.
Okay.
We haven't talked about this all week, but are you up to date on Love is Blind?
Um, no.
I'm
I,
so mad at you. You had a whole week to watch those episodes.
I am currently on episode 3. So I feel like once I hit the first I think there's 6 episodes, we can
Yes. And
we
then
can
more
start.
just, Alicia, more just got uploaded today.
Okay. Well, I will get on it. I'm sorry. There's been so much TV to watch.
I know,
Traders
I
is out
know,
today.
I
Love is
know. There's a lot
Blind is
going
out
on.
today. You were
I just
sick.
think, I know, I just think there's a lot to uncover in Love is Blind right now.
I know.
A
And I
lot to
do want
chat.
to. I already have so much to say on the first 3 episodes. So, we'll stick to Bachelor today, and then hopefully after the weekend we can record
We
about Love
can,
is Blind.
we can get a little into it. I think that'd be a great idea.
But back to this week's episode of The Bachelor. We're a few days behind because Lauren was sick.
Lauren was down bad for a couple days, but we're here and we're better than ever.
And this was a good episode. There's a lot to talk about in this episode. We had 2 one-on-ones. We left the country. It was fun. I feel like there's going to be a lot of varying opinions on this episode. So I'm excited to get yours.
I think so too. But I feel like for the most part, we're aligned pretty well together with it. Actually, I guess we'll see. I don't know.
I also
We'll see.
are you on the internet? Like are you on TikTok? Because I haven't been, but I've been seeing a few things here and there, and it's interesting to see how people feel about it because we just come on here usually and I'm like blind to other people's opinions, but I'm not sure what you've seen online. So,
I see everything, and I feel like people are just picking apart The Bachelor right now.
okay.
They're picking apart all the girls, they're picking apart Grant. Like I never see anything good about what's going on. So,
Oh, that's sad because I think so far it's been a good season.
I'm also surprised to see who people are disliking. Like I feel like it is very night and day right now with who people like and who they dislike.
Okay. Like
And
who?
so it is like some people aren't team Juliana.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
But 2 weeks ago everyone was like, "Oh, she's great. She's going to be there till the end."
Well,
But
we'll talk about that when we get to her and Carolina near the
yeah,
end.
we're
But
gonna have to because that's a bit of a sensitive topic right now, and I'm very disappointed with what I've been seeing.
fair. But before we get to that, we had we go to Madrid. So it starts in the Bachelor mansion. Jesse comes in and says, "There's no group date today because we're going to Madrid," which looks so cool.
Yeah, I've
Um,
never been. Have you?
no. Um, But yeah, Dina gets picked for the one-on-one, and it's so funny because they're like sitting around that table, and he's like, "Dina, do you want to come with me?" And she's just like, "Me?" Like
Very
she
caught
was
off guard.
she was so surprised, but I was happy to see her get a one-on-one because I remember that the first night she got out of the limo and there was so much love music, and I feel like that always means something. Like not everyone gets like the romantic music when they walk out of the limo. So I thought originally, okay, she's going to be like a huge person in the show, and then she's just not been around at all up until this episode. So I was happy to kind of see them have a
Yeah,
date and get to know her more, because whether they end up together, I liked Dina this episode.
I do too. I wasn't sure about Dina before, but you're right. It's probably because we didn't know her very well as one of Grant's lovers. But I think the date, it first off, she looked great.
Yeah.
Her outfit was so cute. She had a great dress, cool jacket. Like she was dressed perfectly for their little date.
Yeah.
And they just started walking the streets of Madrid.
It's so funny because these dates I feel like are actually the best dates to get to know someone because you're just walking around so you can actually
Yep.
talk to them. Instead, some of the dates are crazy and there's literally no way you're talking to someone when you're jumping out of a plane. So this is like nice because you can actually talk, but it's just kind of funny like the little things that the producers definitely set up for them. Like they're walking and then they stumble across the kids playing soccer and they're
Yeah,
like,
it was
"Oh, we'll join."
big shocker, big shocker.
That was cute
Of
though.
course,
There's one
it
point
was cute.
they were holding hands, like playing soccer. I'm like, uh,
But of course, they're going international, bringing the kids out.
yep,
That didn't surprise me, but that was a cute little touch. I feel like you're right with dates where they're walking around like a new place like that. I feel like that gives you a real feel for what your relationship would be like with this person.
yeah,
Because you are going to new places together, you're exploring cities, you are just sometimes not doing anything crazy, you're just chatting, walking around.
yeah. They walk up to some locals dancing, and then to that uh, shop that had it was like wishes that they wrote down, or
Yeah, that was cute. That
they
was a
both
really
wrote
cute
that they
idea.
wanted a family. That was cute.
Shocker.
But yeah, that portion of the date was
Shocker.
cute. I didn't really like see their connection in the day portion, but it was a cute date. Um, we did get to know her a little bit more, though. I guess they went rowing on the river too. Remember?
Oh yeah. And then Grant just rode them down the river.
And she was like, "I'm having a really hard time not doing anything," because she's just sitting there like being the passenger princess of the boat.
Yeah.
Um,
She gives that energy though that she needs to be in control.
yeah,
I'm getting that from her. I feel like it's hard for her to let someone else kind of take control of a situation or of like what's going on. So,
yeah. She's very self-sufficient, and I feel
yeah.
like, yeah, she's kind of talking about how men that she needs a certain type of man to like handle her in a way because she is so self-sufficient, and I feel like men tend to want to be providers, so sometimes it's like they get scared when a woman's able to provide for themselves, which is actually ridiculous, but it's the
Yeah.
reality. It's true. So I feel like she's pushing him out of his comfort zone a bit because he loves to provide, and she's like, I also want to provide. Love
Yeah.
that for her. But yeah, they go to their dinner portion, and she, I think he says that she reminds him of his mom because she is
Yeah.
so.
Well, and honestly, right before that, I was thinking she's just giving like a well-established, independent woman. And to me, he is still giving young boy. And I don't know what it was. I think Dina's great, and I do think there is some kind of connection there for the two of them. But I can just see woman and boy when I see them together. I think she needs a man, and I am not getting that from Grant right now. I'm just not getting it in their dynamic.
Fair. Yeah.
And then
Well,
when he said that she reminds him of his mom, I was like, that just got confirmed for me now.
I loved that she asked him about his 7-year relationship. She was like, "So what happened to your relationship?" Like, yes, ask the hard questions because we don't know anything about that.
I didn't know he was even in a 7-year long relationship.
Yeah, that's why I said last time you were saying that you were getting player vibes, and I'm like, I swear he said he was in a long relationship. And it
You could
seemed
still be a douchebag player in a 7-year long relationship.
that's fair. I feel like it seemed from what he shared that they were, I guess, on maybe just different pages of their relationship. Like,
He made it sound like he was putting his career or like basketball opportunity, whatever, first, which I do understand that. I feel
yeah,
like he was probably still pretty young. And when you're young, you're more selfish. You're not really thinking as much of the other person. So that didn't
yeah.
surprise me.
He also said that he was looking at it in a different way, like in the sense that he was trying to provide. Like him doing this was building their, I guess, I don't know, like building a foundation for the relationship. Like he was doing it for them, whereas I guess maybe she felt not like he was doing it for them. But yeah, I just love that she was not afraid to ask him questions about him. I love that.
That's that boss woman energy.
Yeah. But
I
overall,
love
like
it.
I did think their date was cute. I think he's like intrigued by the type of woman she is because she's so just awesome. But I don't know if he can handle her. Even though she's like
No.
amazing, I feel like I'm not sure he's the one. I don't think he can do it. Like you said, he's a boy
I
and
don't
she's a woman.
Yeah, I don't think he's the one for her.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay.
But love her.
But
Love to see her on the show.
I love her too. I think she's great. I still think she'll probably make it pretty far, but I do think she's going to end up getting her heart broken.
Yeah.
But she's going to learn from this experience and she's going to know exactly what she needs after it.
Totally. Yeah, and then
Well, she got a rose,
yeah,
obviously.
oh yeah,
That's
she
great.
gets a rose.
Dina's still in another week.
I'm trying to remember. This was a few days ago now. All I wrote is Carolina says she doesn't have enough time with him, so I'm assuming we get another. It's probably when they're talking about, or when they're all in the room waiting to see who gets the one-on-one.
Yep.
So that's a theme of this episode. But
Carolina being a little baby. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. And we will get into this, obviously, later on. But Carolina just completely pissed me off this episode.
fair. It seems like she pissed off a lot of girls in the house too. So, but anyway, Seraphina gets the one-on-one.
Which, did you notice that everyone he took on a date to Vanderpump Dogs in the last episode
Got a one-on-one date.
got a one-on-one after. So he took the three girls out. Latia got the dinner day of, and then Dina and Seraphina both get one-on-ones this episode.
So great for them. Awful for the other girls.
That sucks for the other girls, but yeah,
I
good
didn't
for
even
them.
notice that. That's a good point. Yeah, they've gotten the most time.
Yeah.
For sure. But anyway, before we get to Seraphina's date, that it kind of shocked me she got it. I don't know why, mainly because we haven't really seen much of her. I guess we saw her on the Vanderpump date, but
I honestly
don't know.
didn't think much of her until this episode.
Yeah. I just thought like someone like Juliana was going to get it, or Zoe, like some people who've been shown a bit more, but
Yeah.
anyway, we get the group date next. We get a little
The
clip
girls
of
start by taking some donkey rides through the town. Well, that was so funny. I would love to do that. This entire date, Alicia, is like, if I could pick a group date, this would have been it.
yeah, it was fun. I love that they got to ride the donkeys, and then they pull up to I don't know what it's called,
The bull ring,
the bull.
something like that.
And there's a matadora.
A matador.
A
A
matador.
matador. I don't think I've ever said that word out loud before. Matador.
But yeah, they're doing
That's
some
funny.
bull fighting.
Yeah.
It's so funny. They have all the girls stand there with their red blanket. I don't know what it is. I'm so
Red
uncultured.
bacon. And then there's Grant running,
With a fake
pretending
wheelbarrow.
to be the bull at them.
That was
I was
really
like,
funny.
you just know that he had no idea that's what the date would entail.
I was waiting for a bull to come out, like, like.
No, Grant was the bull running at them.
So
Which-
that was funny. Then they make them go switch into their costumes, and the girls come out in some cheap. I don't
That's
even
all you
know.
have to say. Some cheap looking outfits. And then honestly, this was a thought going through my head. And then when Carolina goes, Grant looks like his budget was way higher than ours.
That was
It's like,
funny.
oh my god. So true.
Yeah, she was so funny. She was like, "We're giving Spirit Halloween." which
Oh,
was true. It they pull up the mechanical bull, which so funny. I love that idea, and I'm jealous because that would have been so much fun.
mechanical bulls are, I think, one of my favorite things ever.
How
This is
many
so up my alley.
how many mechanical bulls have you ridden, Lauren?
At least 11. I'm not kidding.
How long do you last on them?
It depends. Some are a little trickier than others, but like
Okay.
not way longer than they did. Honestly, they were very poor at it.
Oh my goodness.
So that was a very disappointing watch.
It was so funny because they had like I guess tourists like on the stands, and you can just tell they're just like a bunch of American tourists. Like, oh my gosh, this is The Bachelor. Like,
That's what I noticed too when they were originally at the restaurant before Grant picked up Dina. The amount of people that were just surrounding watching. I'm like, I've never noticed that before.
yeah, it
But all
was.
those people probably had no idea at the time. Or like the odd person was probably like, I wonder if this is The Bachelor.
Yeah, that would be so cool. Just be like on a trip and see The Bachelor filming.
Well, at first it'd be funny to see one guy with like 15 girls.
I know, like
Like, what is going on here?
on screen it seems normal, but could you just imagine you're just walking downtown and there's one guy and like 15 girls in a line behind? That's so funny. But yeah, anyway, they're just they're on their phones. But okay, Juliana looked so cute on the bowl. She went first. Um
Yeah, she I think she lasted like what, 12 seconds? And then everyone after that lasted like 7 or 8. Like
except
Juliana
for
was leading for a bit.
yeah, but then no one else was notable, but Alex. I don't think I've laughed this hard at The Bachelor out loud in
Kate,
so long.
that was the farmer and the Canadian in her that wrote that bull. That
She
was the most impressive thing ever.
she just grabs the horns, butt up.
Straddles it. Yeah, face down, butt up. And she
She's
crushed it.
She's getting whipped around. I've I've never laughed that hard, I don't think, at The Bachelor in my life.
And watching all of them laugh and react to was awesome. Like I
That
love
was so
seeing those
funny.
like really genuine like reactions and interactions with
Yeah.
them.
Alex is really funny. I feel like we don't
She
get to see
is.
enough of her, but the little bits and pieces they show, she's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, her personality. I wish they showed more of her.
I know. I'm actually that was one thing that I was thinking later in the episode, not to fast forward, but like when they were doing the rose ceremony, and I didn't know who was gonna go home, and Alex was like one of the last four girls left. I was like, is Alex gonna go home? Because we don't see her in the episodes anymore, and so that really
Yeah.
confused me because I thought she was elite, like a front runner, and then all of a sudden we
Okay,
haven't.
but it is she a front runner?
Well, who
Because
knows?
her date was at a mall and then every single one-on-one after that was awesome. So,
I know, but maybe she is the front runner still, and that's why they're not showing her much because they don't want to give it away. But
I don't know. Or Grant's realizing the sibling vibes he gets from her. So, okay, so
okay,
Alex rode the
okay,
bull, killed it, crushed it, thought she was going to be the winner. Then Zoe comes up, steals her technique. I was so pissed to see that. Honestly, that was a smart move. Any girl probably would have done that, but the fact that it was
yeah,
Zoe and right after,
I
and then
know she
Zoe ends
stole
up
her
winning.
technique. I mean, yeah, that was I would have
Yeah,
done the same thing. But and Zoe's a
I
wrestler.
know.
Like she is used to getting whipped around. Did you hear Grant make the comment
Yeah.
about her flipping him over? Remember how
Oh my gosh, yes. Clearly that moment stuck with him too.
yeah, that was so funny. But yeah, she wins, and then they get their special moment on the rooftop, and this is their second rooftop moment in the season, and it's just as awkward and uncomfortable. But yeah, anyway.
I have nothing to say about Zoe, but honestly, I don't feel the hatred towards her
No.
as I did in previous episodes. That's definitely shifted, and like it seemed like this episode, instead of
Yeah.
it being Zoe against the house, it was like Zoe and
I feel
House
like
against someone else.
Zoe, the producers used Zoe as potential villain content at the beginning of the season. Like they could tell that she was maybe
Yeah.
someone who didn't easily get along with the girls right away, not because she's mean, but just because like clearly we're seeing she's a bit more reserved and for reason. So like I think they just found an opportunity of someone that was competitive, wasn't getting along as easily right away with the girls, and
She also just like she has a very punchable face.
Lord.
Like there's something about just her sorry that there's just she was an
Yeah, I
easy
feel like they I
target,
don't
okay?
think she came into the season and was like, I'm gonna sure oh my god. I'm gonna stir it up. But I think they just producers were like they saw someone who was gonna probably fit the script of what they wanted to cause some drama, and she fell for it. Like it doesn't seem like the girls have anything against her now. So I think that was just producers stirred up drama at the beginning. But yeah. Anyway, um they
Okay, can we what? We
yeah, now they go to
the with the
the
group
cocktail
now?
party.
They go with the group and then him and Parisa have their little sit down one-on-one together. And then he gave her
Ah,
rocks to let
that
her
was
know that she's
so
thinking about
cute.
him. And like if it weren't for the rest of the episode, I'd be like, "Oh my god, that was so pure, so cute."
Like
But Grant's a douchebag. Why does he keep
I
doing
know.
this? This is like the whole taking Ella's letter thing. Oh, can
I
I
know.
hold on to this close, please?
I know.
Sending her
I was so
home.
shocked that he gave her those rocks cuz he I was like, wow, like they have a connection that I didn't realize they had. And while it was so sweet, yeah, that was mean.
Alicia, these are mind games he's playing
Oh,
with these girls. You know how, like, you know
I
how much
know.
that
She even
probably
said
messed
like
with her
not to
head?
fast forward too much, but when she goes home later, she was so confused. Like she was so thrown off. And I get why. And I get why.
I don't
But
blame her. I don't blame
ugh,
her. That
I
was a
know.
poor move on Grant's part. I don't know what he was thinking. I honestly think he goes into these rose ceremonies not knowing what he's gonna do, and then is deciding as he's saying the
Maybe.
words and handing
Speaking of
out the
Rose, we
rose.
see him with Rose next, and all I see is Grant completely checked out. They were doomed.
Honestly, that conversation though, he was being like open. She was being open. They were being honest. He was being touchy with her too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think much of it. I just thought, you know what, this is a much
Fair.
better conversation than last
But
week. Because last week it was a hard watch. Like they just
yeah. Yeah.
weren't vibing.
It's definitely better than last week, but I could just tell. He just seemed like he couldn't get back into it. But that sucks for her. We'll talk about that more later. But next we see Zoe. And this like we kind of just were talking about her, but I actually really, really liked Zoe in this moment because I feel like I got a better understanding of why she is the way she is and maybe why the way she comes across the
Yeah.
way she does. But yeah, she opens up. She says she was adopted and she grew up in the South in like a predominantly white neighborhood and never felt deserving of love or friends or like accepted. And honestly, I felt this in my soul. I cried. I was like crying listening to her talk, to be honest. Because you could just tell she has so much hurt from that. And I could see, and I
Yeah.
didn't feel like it was fake tears. I felt like that was like genuinely her opening up about her, like why she is the way she is. And like her traumas. And it didn't feel scripted to me. It just felt very genuine. And I could see now why like Grant has been so intrigued by her because clearly there's more layers. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying she's my favorite person in the world, but I also feel like I got to know her a lot more, and I respected her for saying that, and I cried.
This always happens. I always dislike girls, and then they end up having these like crazy stories and such, either rough childhoods or like just how their growing up's hard, like
Yeah.
so unexpected, and then it makes
Well,
me feel
maybe you
bad
should.
for disliking them. So, Zoe, I'm sorry about what I said
I
about
really,
you. You're still not my favorite, but I did
yeah, and I felt their
really
connection.
appreciate
So
that
I'm
conversation.
feeling pretty good about my initial pick of Zoe being up there in the top like five. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll see what
and then
happens.
oh,
After
this
that,
is this is where
okay, this is where, okay, this is
okay.
where it starts with Carolina. And I know a lot of people have mixed opinions
Mm-hmm.
on what's kind of going on here. My opinion is that Carolina needs to stop talking. I think she's being annoying. I think she's this. The Bachelor has gone on for how many seasons? There's been
Mm-hmm.
how many people on this show? Like, do you seriously not know what the process is like? And I understand I've never been on it, so I don't know. But you see,
Yeah.
it's not just you, okay? You're sharing him with other girls. There is limited time. I just think she's being super dramatic about everything, and she's not putting herself in anyone
Yeah.
else's shoes. She's just
Yeah.
being selfish about it.
Yeah. I agree with a lot of that. I feel like the way I feel about Carolina after this episode is I don't think she's like intentionally a malicious person. Like I don't think she's going into this being like I want to steal him away and have all the time. I want to be this person that hurts other people. Like I don't think she's mentally malicious or like mentally thinking that she wants to be this person on the show. Like, I don't think that's her intention. And I can see that. However, I think she's just she's not self aware. It doesn't seem like she's aware of how her actions are affecting other people or like how her words are, like the weight of her words. I think she's just super unaware of all of that. And yeah, I do feel like there's a lot of some selfishness in that. I think she's very centered on her own experience, which makes sense. Like you're trying to get engaged to somebody. However, I think it's just I don't, everyone's going through the experience. All of the girls are trying to get engaged to him at the end, and they all have connections with him. And everyone in the whole building is going through the same experience, and the way she's talking about it seems very much like it's a her problem. So like what she's saying about not having enough time with him to get engaged is valid. All of the girls probably feel that, but I think it's just how much again, we don't see everything she says, but I think it's more so like how much she's talking about it in a negative light to the other girls who are going through the exact same thing. I could understand how the other girls are seeing that as maybe she's not here for her, like maybe she's not ready for the experience. I think it's, yeah.
I I completely agree with you
Yeah.
with the not self-aware. I think you're right about that. I don't think she is really understanding the impact of
Mm-hmm.
what she's saying is having. I
Mm-hmm.
think she's just kind of in her own bubble. And I do get that because you do have to be selfish to a certain extent on this show. Like, you aren't there to make friends. Yes, that's great to do along the way. But, like, you're all in
Yeah.
a way fighting for the same guy. But, like, she needs to remember that
Mm-hmm.
she's not the only one there.
Yeah.
She's not the only one trying to
Yeah. I
date
feel like she
him.
doesn't realize that all of her, like, her words are valid. Like, you don't know him yet. You don't know if you want to get engaged, and you do need more time to get engaged. However, like, every other girl also needs time to get to know him to see if they are the right match for him. So it just,
She's also had, like, the
she
most
definitely
time, one
has
of the
had the
most
most
time
time.
with
Yeah.
him. So, like, yes, for her to say that to girl in front of girls like Juliana, who
Yeah.
hasn't even had a one-on-one with him yet, has just done group
Yeah.
dates. That's
And
annoying. That's
I
annoying.
think the drama, I haven't really seen much online. However, what I've seen online a little bit is that people think that Juliana took her words from their conversation and like like told, I don't know, like twisted her words to Grant. But I don't think Juliana was talking about their conversation. I think she was talking about everything behind the scenes that we're not seeing about what she's saying about her time and her date, things that we don't know. So I don't think Juliana's making that up out of nowhere. I don't think that's the type of person she is. And like personally,
No.
again, this is just my opinion on what we're shown. We have no idea what goes on behind the scenes. But like from my point of view from the episode, it seems like Juliana pulled Carolina aside to not question necessarily her intention, but like just let her know the impact of her words and like her complaining and her constantly bringing up these things to the group. I think she was just, I feel like she did it in a very respectful way. I don't think she attacked her at all. I think she was.
No, but this is why I'm so confused, Alicia, because a lot of people are pissed at what Juliana, like how she approached it. I think Juliana was, the way she approached it was the best thing she could have done. She didn't confront her in front of all the girls and have like 10 against 1. She pulled her off to the side. She had a one-on-one conversation with her and just told her told her how it is.
Yeah.
I think that was the best thing she could have done.
So I don't know. That one, I don't think Carolina's intentionally trying to steal time or anything like that. But to me, it seems like she needs a lot of validation from Grant, which makes, I mean, I would be insecure too. I'd probably want a lot of validation. Every girl wants validation on the show, but it just seems like she doesn't care how she's going to get it. Like it doesn't seem like she cares at all about taking time away from other people or like she just needs her time. She doesn't care about anyone. And that's how it comes across to me. And I don't think it's like intentional, but I think her like not like being being like not aware and being like needing this validation so badly is like stealing a lot of energy and time away from the other girls. So
well, this is why it kind of pissed me off this is why I have such a weird relationship with Zoe right now, because in a way Carolina's doing exactly what Zoe does, like kind of being selfish with Grant. Zoe doesn't necessarily talk about it, but she pulls him away when maybe she shouldn't. So it's like, okay, if Zoe can do it but then still be okay with the girls, Carolina's doing it now. I understand why the girls are upset with her. But like, I feel like the dynamic right now is just, I'm so confused with it all.
Stealing time necessarily. I think it's about her vocally being ungrateful for all the time she has had, and that's what I think is the issue. I don't think she's stolen him away, but she has, for example, at the rose ceremony or at the prom date last week, like her insecurity with Rose's comment made the whole night terrible for everybody else because she really needed the validation from Grant that didn't happen. And so it made the whole night just a bummer for everybody. So not necessarily her stealing him for time. It was just like the whole cloud of negativity and like it being about her all of the time that I think is getting to the girls a little bit because they want time, and all Carolina talks about is how she doesn't have enough time, which makes sense. She wants to get to know him, but it's super like she's not self-aware that other girls also want time because they also want to get to know him because they also want to get to engage to him. So it seems like she doesn't understand that she's not the only person that needs more time. It's not that her feelings are invalid for needing more time to get engaged. It's just she's preaching to the wrong people about needing more time because they also want more time.
No, but it's also the dramatics she's pulling about it is taking up more time. Like that last week, this week, like when Grant was trying to give out that rose at the end of this date, he didn't because Carolina was crying like a baby and being so dramatic about it. Like there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
Let's wrap that up and we'll move on. But she knew what she was doing. She knew that Grant would not finish would not finish up with the girls if she was crying in the like in the corner. She knew that he would probably pull her off to the side or at least
Yeah.
say something to her.
Well, when he first
Like,
came back to the group and she was like kind of teary and he just walks in and he goes, "You okay?" And then like he sits down and then she like keeps crying and I'm like, "Okay." This is like I'm not trying to say she's doing it intentionally,
yes.
but I think she really wanted the validation from him in that moment.
I think she's doing it intentionally.
But um
I think she is. I hate to say it, but I think she is. I'm sorry, Carolina. Actually, I'm not.
yeah,
She's been a
I
problem. I'm sorry. She's been a problem. She's not
yeah,
cut out for this for the Bachelor then. Like if you can't handle your man dating 12 other girls,
yeah.
like you can't handle it. And that's okay. Some
Nope.
people can't. I
No.
wouldn't be able to, and
Yeah.
that's okay. But that is literally the
Yeah.
premise of the show. That is the entire show. So
Yeah.
stop complaining
No,
about it
exactly.
and crying about it.
Um but yeah, so he doesn't Grant is doesn't give out the rose because of all of what happened. Um and then we get the one-on-one with Serafina, which I don't know. I feel like how do you feel about this date?
Uh, why would they do two extreme activities back to back? That I'm confused about. Like you said before, you can't have a real conversation when you're
This
jumping
one was
off of a
like
cliff.
scary to me. I know it was just like a small cliff, but it's pouring rain and it looked like
See, this would have been easier for me to do than
I
the
feel
jumping off
like
the building.
this one just looked so much sketchier. Like, even though it was a tiny bridge, it looked like there was just like a single rope literally like knotted up on the bridge for them to jump off of.
Yeah, I don't know who picked this date. I'm curious to
Yeah.
know who picks the dates. Like, does Grant have any say? Is it just like the producers being like, "All right, this is what's happening," and they just show up and he's
I
like,
think it's
"Oh
that because
shit."
he seemed so scared, which I would have been so scared too, but it's so funny. Serafina's just like Grant is like really scared.
It's funny because he's
I
going
know.
with just the most chill
He's more
girls.
scared than all the girls so far.
Like, and it's
Yeah.
noticeable. You see it on his face. He's like terrified,
But
which is so
yeah, they
funny.
like build up the fear. They have to sign a waiver. They they're asking if the like instructors ever jumped in the rain. She's like, not really. They're just like pouring, or it's pouring, and they're just soaking. But they jump off, and it's not even like a bungee jump. It's literally just like a straight bridge jump where you just kind of like they jumped maybe like 100 meters, and then they were just swinging back and forth upside down. I was like, that is my nightmare. like,
Yeah, I think that would be the worst part. Also, like, how long are you hanging upside down for
like usually with a
before
bungee,
somebody
you
comes
kind of
and
like
gets
bounce a
you?
few times, and then you go down. But like they were just like upside down. Like I would have thrown up. But
I feel like you're lying. I
I
think
can't
you
even
could
like
handle
drive in a car,
like stuff like
so
that. You you just give the vibe to me that
no.
you could do like
I have
extreme
such bad motion
activities with no
sickness.
problem.
I can't get on a boat. I can't get in like a passenger seat. It's bad. I could not. Yeah.
Really?
But
Interesting. Wow. Learning so much about you.
um and then yeah, I mean that was a fun portion, but then they go to their dinner date. Um and it's so funny he like brings up that he thinks that she's holding back. He's like, "Yeah, I think you're just like holding back a little bit because like of our kissing." Like cuz she's like doesn't want to do like open tongue kissing with him. And she's like, "No, it's
Yeah.
just because of my mom. My
Her
mom is watching." I'm like, "Real?"
which is so real, so real. I think that was so funny. So that's the first person I guess I've ever noticed that has like called something like that
Yeah, I
out.
mean, I that's true though. I mean, this is a tame show at least, so
Honestly, I honestly wasn't a huge fan of Serafina. I really don't have a good reason
I
why.
liked her.
It's just a vibe I got. But like
Yeah.
after that date, like I get it. I get it. I see the connection. It
Yeah.
seems like he really likes
I
her.
just think we didn't really know anything
So,
about her before this. Like we barely saw her. We saw her a little bit with like the Zoe drama, which didn't like put her in a good light,
that's
honestly.
true.
And then we only saw her a bit with Vanderpump Dog. So it's not that I didn't like her. I just didn't really know anything about her yet. But yeah, I really liked her. Like I can see their connection. And then yeah, I didn't write much down. I think I was just like really invested in this date.
I was too. I didn't write anything
Um,
down after that. I think
yeah, I think that
she's gonna go far. I think she'll make
okay.
it to Fantasy Suites, at least. Okay, maybe hometowns at least.
Yeah,
Still
I feel
unclear
like
about Fantasy
honestly their
Suites.
date was a little boring, but that's good. That probably means they actually have like a connection. But
That's
yeah,
true.
she gets the
That's true.
rose and then they go kiss in the dark so that she can, kiss him a bit more. um
Her mom is not gonna like if she makes it to Fantasy
well,
Suites.
that's why it's a
That's
fantasy
gonna be
suite.
an awkward one.
It's closed doors. Um
I think we all know what goes on in
and
there.
then we go to the cocktail party, and we're going into the cocktail party with like the same kind of tension from the group date. And
Yep.
he pulls Juliana first because he's Detective Grant and he needs to figure out what's going on. Um, we literally turned into
Detective
Detective
Grant.
Grant again. It's like, I need to get to the bottom of this. Um,
I think he just wants to be included in the drama. I don't think he actually cares about what's going on. I think he just like
yeah.
wants an in on
And
what's
then,
happening. It's like,
but
so
yeah,
who's
so
saying what?
Juliana kind of talks to Grant about what's been going on. And I personally don't think that she twisted her words at all because I don't think she was talking at all about that little conversation they had. Like she was talking about when Carolina came back from their first one-on-one date. And we saw bits and pieces obviously of behind the scenes, but we didn't see everything. But we did see Carolina literally saying, "I almost wish
Yeah.
I didn't have that date at all." Like we saw those comments
Yeah.
on camera about how yeah, like about her date. So who knows what else she's saying. She's probably spiraling and like probably trying to protect herself by saying all these things about him because she probably doesn't want to get hurt. It's a tough situation, but yeah, I don't know. I don't see how people think that Juliana twisted her words. Like I have zero part of me that thinks Juliana is doing this with malicious intent. I feel like Juliana is seeing something that we're not seeing in the house and she's trying to protect Grant because if someone's going around saying like let's not pretend we know the guy and making all of these comments about the experience, that's concerning. Even if you're having like you can have
Yep.
doubts, every person has doubts, but you also have to have some like faith in the process for it to work. And even if you're doubting it, that's valid, but if you just seem super negative about the whole scenario and you don't have any optimism of it working, like I don't know. I don't think she twisted her words at all, personally.
Honestly, someone had to say something to Carolina. It just so happened to be Juliana. But I also think Juliana was probably one of the best people that Grant
Yeah.
could have talked to about it too. And their conversation seemed like it went well. It seemed like the way he was approaching it was, wow, this is very mature and like good of you, Juliana, to be bringing this up to me.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for bringing this to my attention. Like he was kind of praising her in a bit for bringing it to him, which
Yeah. I
obviously
also don't
that's
think Juliana
great. That's awesome.
I feel like sometimes people go to the lead and like try to tear someone else down so that they get ahead, but I really do not think that's what she was doing. I think she was literally going to him with like what protecting him in a way because of what she's been seeing, and
Yeah.
she would not have gone to Grant on her own. the reason why Grant had to have this conversation with Juliana is because Carolina was crying during the cocktail party or the group date, and she told him that Juliana was saying these things, and that's why Grant talked to Juliana. And
Yep.
I don't know. That's why I'm like, Juliana would not have just gone on her own to Grant and said that. She was pulled by Grant because
No. Unless she's a really good actress. Like,
yep.
she could be playing
But
us right now. I don't know. I'm being fooled, though. I believe that she is genuine and she was just trying to do this. You're right, to protect Grant out of the goodness of her heart.
yeah.
And
But
because
anyway,
someone had
he
to do it.
pulls Carolina next to talk to her again. And like you can tell that they have a connection because he was like, I thought we had something special because we built this like friendship base first, which is funny because I literally said at their date that they looked like friends. So they do have a friendship. They do have a connection. But Grant feels hurt because I think this point was so valid what he said. Because again, she is totally in the right to have the feelings of doubt about the process. Not a single person would go into that and not be like, this is crazy to get engaged to someone after like dating them for like a week total tops. Like, of course, everyone knows that is crazy. However, Grant says he's feeling hurt because it's normal to have doubt, but he wishes that she would have came to him and talked to him about those doubts of the process and not be talking about it with all the girls and like saying all of her doubts to the girls and like not making it about their relationship. And I was like, that was a valid point because it's normal to doubt. But he was like, why don't, and in a relationship, we should be talking about it together. If you're feeling doubtful because of the process, talk to me. I'm your partner. Like, you don't need to be he felt hurt that he brought it to the girls and not him. Right. So I don't know. I thought that was a valid point by Grant.
He doesn't say many good things, but that was valid. That was this good one. Good thought by Grant. I don't know. I I don't know even what to say about
And then
Carolina after
like
this episode.
Dina stands up for her in the group because like obviously, yeah, it's not fun when a bunch of girls are not vibing with you. And like I think it's a tough place because I don't think the girls are attacking Carolina. Like I do think Carolina is bringing it upon herself in a way. She's not aware of it. But Dina stands up for her, which I liked because I was like, okay, Dina's seeing that there's someone, no matter what the situation is, we don't know. We literally see nothing in comparison to what actually happens. Like, no matter what, if someone's upset and the group is clearly not on your side, I like that Dina like stood up for her in that moment just to be like
That
100%.
showed a lot about
Because no
Dina's
matter what, if
character.
Carolina's in the wrong, if Juliana's in the wrong, like obviously it's not fun to feel like not in like everyone's against you in a way. But I don't think that's
Yeah.
at fault of one or the other sides. I really just think it's like a bad mix of what's going on. But anyway, but it's funny because Dina stands up for her, but then the whole preview is Dina turning on Carolina. So I'm intrigued to see what happens next week. I don't like that there's like a whole
I
gang
am
up on
too.
someone. I don't think anyone's honestly ganging up on anyone, but I just think if there was just a little bit more self-awareness, it wouldn't be this dramatic.
This whole thing could have been avoided.
Anyway, Rose still
Like,
upset with Carolina because she feels like she can't recover from what Carolina said to Grant. Thoughts on this?
Rose. Honestly, Rose was doomed since the last
Yeah.
episode. There was no turning back from that. That was it. I'm surprised she didn't go home then. I don't know why he kept her because nothing grew from their relationship in in last night's episode or Monday nights. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Rose leaving was a good idea. I think it was kind of funny that Grant just kind of let her leave. He didn't fight it. He didn't say, "Oh, why?" or "Oh no, don't go," which I feel like a part of her was thinking or hoping maybe that Grant would be like,
Yeah.
"No, stay." let's like keep working on things, like just stay. But no, she said she wanted to leave. He said, okay,
Yeah.
if that's what you want to do. And then 30 seconds later, she left. Like, I feel like that was just such a quick turn of events, but I think it made the most sense. And I'm kind of bummed because Rose was like my
Yeah.
first impression, like, this girl's going far. She's going to be great. But no, it was a bad.
Yeah.
Rose just got it bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I
Like,
feel
I
bad for
really don't
her.
know if I definitely think, yeah, the relationship was doomed by last week. I don't know if she would have gotten a rose anyway, because I feel like there's a lot of connections, but who knows? But I think she knew. She just knew it was her time to go. I feel bad for her though.
I think she knew she
Yeah,
probably wasn't getting a rose, so it was a better move
totally.
for her to leave on her own,
Yeah, me too.
which I
But then
respect.
we go to the rose ceremony, and I'm looking at the table, and there's only 5 roses, and I'm like, that means I think 2 people had to go home, or I don't know how many. 2 people had to go home. Rose left
Two
on her
people,
own.
yeah.
But I'm looking at all the girls, and I'm
Yep.
like, to
Yep.
me, they all, besides Natalia, um, every single person, I was like, they all have a connection. It was Latia, Juliana, Alex, Zoe, Carolina, Prisa left, and I was like, who is going home? I
I know. I had no idea what direction this was going to go in. Looking at all the girls, I was like, I feel like I know them all so well now. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. There's no one who's standing out more than others that have
yeah,
a better connection. Like to me,
yeah.
they were all at the same
Yeah, I
level.
agree. The only person I was like, Parisa, I really was hoping she wouldn't go because of The Rock. So I was like, maybe they have more of a connection. And she's just honestly holding down the season with humor right now. Like, everything else is so dramatic, and she's just this funny person on the side. So I didn't want her to leave yet. But yeah,
Okay, no, but when she got like did her little interview at the end after she didn't get a rose and she was like, "Did I talk about my rocks too much?" I wanted
oh,
to cry. But like this is why I genuinely feel like Grant
yeah.
has no idea what he's doing until he's about to say a name and hand them a rose. I don't think he thought
But
that he
who
was
else would
going
he
to
have
send
sent home?
Parisa home. I genuinely But that's the thing, like I don't know
Yeah.
who else would have gone home. Like overall it does make sense that Parisa and Natalie went home. But like even next week, I have no freaking clue who's gonna go home because now the
Yeah.
top seven or eight, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, them to me are all giving the same kind of
Connection, yeah. He's definitely
similar
bad
connection.
at showing us who he likes.
He likes them all, but then like has to send people
Yeah.
home. I think if he could just date them all the whole time, he would.
But yeah, we lose Prisa and we lose Natalia and oh, so sorry, Natalie.
Natalie.
I'm sorry, Natalie. Um my autocorrect just never lets me write the right names. Anyway, we kind of get a preview of next week and it looks like Juliana gets a one-on-one. I'm excited to see that.
Finally.
I think I saw him or says he's falling for Zoe question mark. I think I saw maybe she gets a one-on-one or maybe just an no.
I guess she
Maybe
hasn't yet,
Juliana
right?
and Zoe next week.
So
And
maybe.
then
Well, who hasn't yet? Juliana, Zoe, and technically
Latia
Latia.
kind of had hers, I guess. But everyone else has.
Yeah, but if that counts,
Yeah,
that
that's true.
sucks. Because
I feel like
if that counts, that kind of sucks.
she might
I
get
mean,
that.
yeah, they had
Sometimes
dinner, but
some of the earlier dates get a second one-on-one, so maybe she'll get that one.
well, sometimes people get two one-on-ones
True.
before some people get one. I just feel like this season
Yep.
is going by so fast. Like, we're 4 episodes in, there's 7 girls left. They're probably sending,
Yeah, and then
what,
there'll be
another 2
hometowns.
home next week? Like, we are
I know.
right around the corner from hometowns. and I don't feel a connection to anyone. So I can only
Well,
imagine how
apparently
Grant is feeling.
he has a connection with two people and he can't decide at the very end. So
See, and this is why I'm getting the vibe that each week he doesn't know
true,
what he's doing until the moment of. That guy doesn't know what he's
fair.
doing. Nobody prepared him
But
for this.
yeah, and then we also see Dina and Carolina having some type of disagreement. So we'll we'll see what goes down next week. I'm excited.
We'll see. We'll see. It's kind of fun to see like social media, see what people are saying about everyone. I feel like I think one thing and then I see someone else say something completely different and I'm like the perspectives right now and just it's
I
all
know, it's
just
so
so crazy
interesting.
what I'm seeing. Maybe it's a
Online.
good thing that you're not on
I know.
TikTok right
I'm like,
now.
at the end of the day, we're seeing a very produced show and very limited amount of time of these people. So my opinions are solely based on the small information that we see. But
I'm just very easily influenced. Like if I'm unsure about something and I see someone's opinion, I'm like, that makes
but
sense. That seems like a good
yeah,
one.
I'm excited for next week. I feel like I'm finally getting excited for each episode.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's coming to an end quick. We started with 20 something girls down to 7, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad.
But anyway, stay tuned for Love is Blind.
Yeah. Yeah.
We will.
I think we need to talk
No,
about Love is Blind. Obviously not right now, but like I
we will.
definitely think that's something we need to
I
get
think.
into. And you need to watch some episodes because I
Okay.
need to talk
I'll
about
be
this
caught
with
up by the
someone.
weekend.
I
And
think
then we can talk about the first 6
okay.
episodes. So stay tuned for sometime
Okay.
next week. Love is Blind, episode 1 through 6.
Yeah. I think that's a
Okay.
great idea.
Well, until then,
Till then everyone, we'll
bye.
see y'all next week.